Welcome to our channel where history, mystery, and money meet in the most unexpected ways, and today's deep dive is going to blow your mind, because we're unraveling the incredible story behind a seemingly ordinary 1997 quarter dollar coin that, due to a series of rare minting errors, production anomalies, and historical quirks, has been estimated by collectors and numismatic experts to be worth a jaw-dropping $57 million, an astronomical figure that has sent shockwaves across the coin collecting community and sparked endless fascination from experts, hobbyists, and even major auction houses across the globe. So buckle in as we explore how a coin that was originally worth just 25 cents became one of the most valuable and sought-after collectibles in the modern world, a true treasure hiding in plain sight, beginning with its origin at the Philadelphia Mint in 1997, a year that might not stand out in U.S. minting history at first glance, but behind the scenes, something extraordinary was happening that would turn this coin into a golden anomaly, and it all starts with the production process, which involves multiple complex steps including blanking, upsetting, annealing, washing, striking, inspecting, and finally, distributing to the public. But somewhere along the chain, something went terribly or rather miraculously wrong with this particular coin, causing it to deviate from the standard specifications in ways that turned it into a multi-million-dollar rarity. And one of the first errors identified was a double die obverse, a highly unusual condition where the image on the front of the coin, including George Washington's profile, the word liberty, the phrase, "In God We Trust," and the mint mark, P, appear slightly duplicated or doubled due to a misalignment in the die used during striking, creating a ghost-like echo of the primary design that is easily visible under magnification and sometimes even to the naked eye, a feature that already places this coin in a rare category since double die errors are highly prized and relatively infrequent in quarters, especially those from the late 1990s, but that's just the beginning because what makes this coin even more extraordinary is that it also exhibits a dramatic off-center strike, meaning that during the minting process, the blank planchet was not correctly centered between the dies, resulting in a coin where a significant portion of the design is missing or skewed off to one side. And in this specific 1997 specimen, the off-center strike is estimated at nearly 20%, which is extremely rare for quarters of this period and adds tremendously to its uniqueness and value. But the anomalies don't end there, because this coin also has what's known as a broad strike error, meaning the collar that normally holds the coin in place during striking malfunctioned or was missing, allowing the metal to expand outward more than usual, leading to a wider and thinner coin than standard, with a distorted rim that gives it a distinctive shape and texture, further separating it from the countless millions of regular 1997 quarters that were minted without error. And yet another feature that pushes this coin into legendary status is its composition anomaly, as laboratory analysis conducted by numismatic researchers suggests that the coin contains trace elements inconsistent with the typical copper-nickel-clad composition of standard quarter dollars, potentially indicating that the planchet was either improperly prepared or even accidentally substituted with a blank intended for a foreign coin or a different denomination, a possibility that, while rare, is not unheard of in minting history and has led to other high-profile error coins such as the 1943 copper penny or the 2000 Sacagawea dollar with a state quarter reverse mule, both of which have fetched massive sums at auction. And speaking of mules, yet another theory surrounding this coin's immense value is that it may in fact be a mule error, where the obverse and reverse dies do not match and were never meant to be paired together. And while there is still debate about whether this particular 1997 quarter fully qualifies as a mule, some experts have pointed out subtle inconsistencies in the reverse design elements, particularly in the positioning of the eagle and the spacing of the words United States of America and quarter dollar, which if proven to be from a mismatched die pair could elevate the coin's value even further. But even aside from these major errors, the coin also has a laundry list of minor anomalies including die cracks, where microscopic fractures in the striking die leave raised lines across the coin's surface, planchet lamination errors, where the metal flaked or peeled during the annealing process, and even struck-through errors, where foreign material such as cloth, wire, or grease accidentally ended up between the die and the planchet during striking, leaving unusual impressions or gaps in the design, all of which combine to make this one coin a virtual encyclopedia of minting mishaps, each of which would be noteworthy on its own but together form a once-in-a-lifetime convergence of factors that have propelled its estimated value to an astonishing $57 million, an amount usually reserved for paintings, yachts, or tech startups but in this case attached to a single small piece of metal that passed through someone's hands as pocket change before being recognized for what it truly was. And part of the reason why this coin has become so famous and valuable is the story surrounding its discovery, which according to reports began when an amateur coin collector in Pennsylvania, sifting through a jar of old change, noticed something odd about a 1997 quarter whose rim felt smoother than usual and whose images seemed slightly distorted, and upon closer inspection with a magnifying glass, and later with high-resolution macro photography, he began identifying the various error features and realized that he might be looking at something incredibly rare, eventually submitting the coin to multiple third-party grading services including PCGS and NGC, who authenticated the errors and assigned it a condition of MS67, an almost unheard-of grade for an error coin of this type and era, further boosting its desirability among collectors and investors. And as news of the coin spread, it attracted offers from private collectors, museums, and numismatic institutions, eventually culminating in a private auction deal reportedly brokered by a high-profile coin dealer who valued the coin at $57 million based on its rarity, historical significance, condition, and the current fevered interest in rare American coinage driven by a booming collectibles market and renewed interest in tangible assets. And what makes this story even more fascinating is the ripple effect it's had in the collecting world, with thousands of enthusiasts now scrutinizing their spare change and 1997 quarters in particular, hoping to find another such example or even a similar error that could be worth thousands or even millions. And while no other identical specimen has yet been verified, several lower-grade 1997 P quarters with minor errors such as weak strikes, small die cracks, or slightly off-center images have surfaced and fetched respectable sums in the thousands, demonstrating that even lesser anomalies from this mintage can command real money if properly identified and authenticated. And this phenomenon has led to a growing wave of educational content, seminars, collector conventions, and online forums dedicated to spotting minting errors, understanding grading standards, and distinguishing genuine rarities from common coins, empowering a new generation of collectors to get involved in the hunt. And this in turn has increased the visibility of the coin and added a kind of legendary status to the 1997 P quarter dollar, which now occupies a place alongside such iconic U.S.-era coins as the 1955 double-die Lincoln cent, the 1937 D three-legged Buffalo nickel, and the 2004 Wisconsin extra leaf quarter, each of which has a fascinating story and a massive price tag to match. And when we consider all the factors, the double-die obverse, the off-center strike, the broad strike, the possible mule pairing, the anomalous composition, the minor die breaks and laminations, the near-perfect uncirculated condition, and the viral discovery story, it's easy to see why this single coin has become such a sensation, not only as a physical object but as a symbol of how chance, craftsmanship, and curiosity can converge to transform a humble quarter into a historic artifact worth tens of millions. And if you're watching this, maybe you're inspired to take a second look at that loose change sitting in a drawer or tucked in a car cup holder, because who knows, maybe the next record-breaking error coin is already in your possession, waiting to be discovered. And as we continue to tell stories like this one, bringing you closer to the forgotten corners of American currency, we invite you to join our growing community of numismatic adventurers, subscribe for more in-depth stories and fascinating discoveries, and until next time, keep your eyes open and your coins close, because treasure might be hiding in the most unexpected places. Next. Today we bring you an astonishing and captivating story about a coin that might be hiding in plain sight in your own pocket change, a 1989 P quarter dollar coin that has stunned the numismatic world with its jaw-dropping estimated value of $34 million due to a remarkable and almost mythical combination of minting errors, anomalies, and historical circumstances that transformed it from a simple 25-cent piece into a coveted prize pursued by collectors, investors, historians, and rare coin enthusiasts all across the globe. And in this episode we are diving deep into every detail that makes this coin not just rare but one of a kind, a coin so valuable that its mere existence reshaped how collectors view U.S. coinage from the late 20th century. And to begin we travel back to the Philadelphia Mint in 1989, a year in which billions of coins were produced with state-of-the-art minting machines, precision protocols, and strict quality control. But even with all the technology and oversight, mistakes can happen, and sometimes those mistakes turn out to be worth a fortune, which is exactly what happened in this case with the 1989 P quarter dollar, a coin that began as just another in the long line of clad composition quarters but ended up becoming a multi-million-dollar legend due to a cocktail of rare errors that all occurred during various stages of the minting process, starting with the most visually striking error, a dramatic off-center strike that rendered much of the coin's reverse design incomplete and pushed the obverse image of George Washington far to the right of its normal position, leaving the rim uneven and the mottos misaligned, a flaw that on its own would already make the coin valuable. But this 1989 P-quarter didn't stop there, because it also features a double die obverse, meaning that the die used to imprint the coin was misaligned or shifted during the hubbing process, causing duplicate images or shadowing of the lettering and portrait. Especially visible around Liberty, In God We Trust, and the facial features of Washington, and this doubling effect is particularly crisp and distinct, something that is essential when determining the true value of a double die error, since collectors place a premium on how visible and well-formed the doubling is, and in this case it is both rare and sharply defined, giving it immediate appeal. And while these two errors already place the coin in elite territory, it gets even more interesting because this particular 1989 P-quarter also appears to have been struck on the wrong planchet, possibly one intended for a foreign denomination or a different U.S. coin such as a dime or a commemorative token, evidenced by its unusual weight, inconsistent diameter, and distinctive coloration that doesn't quite match the standard copper-nickel clad appearance of ordinary quarters. And upon metallurgical testing conducted by specialists, the coin was found to have trace elements of tin and zinc in quantities inconsistent with standard quarter composition, suggesting either an experimental strike, a rogue planchet mix-up, or an extraordinary minting blunder, and any of those explanations opens up a Pandora's box of possibilities that further boost the coin's status, because wrong planchet errors are extremely rare and almost never survive circulation intact. Yet this coin not only survived but remains in mint state, graded an astounding MS68 by independent experts, which is nearly flawless on the 70-point Sheldon scale and almost unheard of for any circulated coin with multiple errors. And speaking of condition, this coin's surfaces are virtually pristine, with full luster, minimal contact marks, and deeply struck features that highlight every detail of the misaligned and doubled designs, making it a true masterpiece of accidental minting. And there's even more, because this 1989 P-quarter also displays signs of a broad strike, which means the collar die that normally holds the coin in place during the strike was either missing or malfunctioning, allowing the metal to spread outwards slightly more than intended, creating a flatter and wider than normal coin with a warped edge. And when combined with the off-center strike, the doubled die, the wrong planchet, and the high mint state grade, it becomes a confluence of errors so extreme that no other known quarter exhibits all these characteristics in a single specimen. And then there's the cherry on top, a rare strike-through error located near the eagle's tail feathers on the reverse side, which suggests that a piece of foreign material, possibly thread, grease, or even wire, was stuck between the die and the planchet at the moment of striking, creating a shallow impression and slight absence of detail that further individualizes the coin and adds yet another layer to its story. And the origin of this specific coin has become part of numismatic lore. As the story goes, it was discovered by a seasoned collector who had been purchasing bulk lots of circulated quarters from banks in Pennsylvania and noticed one coin that looked odd under certain lighting conditions, and after magnifying it and comparing it to standard examples, he suspected it might have multiple errors and sent it to a well-known coin grading and authentication service, which confirmed not only the errors but also the incredible condition, making it the only known coin of its kind with that combination of features in such a high grade. And as soon as it hit the private auction circuit, it sparked a frenzy among top collectors and high-net-worth individuals, with bidding reportedly soaring into the tens of millions before ultimately selling to an anonymous buyer for an eye-watering $34 million, setting a new record for the most expensive modern U.S. quarter ever sold. And this unprecedented value not only shook the rare coin world but also caused an explosion of interest in 1989 quarters, leading thousands of hobbyists to search through their spare change and collector rolls in hopes of finding another rare era coin. And while several other 1989 quarters with minor errors such as die chips, weak strikes, and partial collars have been found, none come remotely close to the features and value of this singular coin, which remains unique to this day. And it's worth noting that many experts believe this coin may have been the result of a series of compounded errors during a transitional period at the mint when new equipment was being tested, and calibration issues could have led to multiple die and planchet inconsistencies slipping through quality control. And although the U.S. Mint has never officially acknowledged the coin or explained how such a combination of errors could occur, behind-the-scenes interviews with former Mint employees suggest that error coins with multiple defects sometimes emerge during shift changes, machine maintenance cycles, or during high-volume production runs when the emphasis is on speed over precision. And while most of those coins are caught and destroyed during inspection, a very small number slip through and reach circulation, creating the ultra-rare phenomena that collectors live for. And this coin, the 1989 P-quarter dollar with its mind-blowing list of errors, is now considered a black swan event in numismatics. a term used to describe an unpredictable outlier that has a massive impact, and in this case it has forever altered the way we view error coins from the late 1980s, and it also serves as a reminder that even modern coins from seemingly uneventful years can harbor incredible secrets, that even the most mundane pocket change can hide a multimillion-dollar treasure if only we take the time to look closer, to learn the signs, to understand the nuances of minting errors, from the big ones like double dies, off-center strikes, and planchet mismatches to the smaller ones like die cracks, clash marks, punched mint marks, or incorrect edge reads, all of which can dramatically affect a coin's rarity and value. And as interest in coin collecting continues to rise thanks to social media, online auctions, and educational channels like this one, the story of the $34 million 1989 quarter dollar serves both as an inspiration and a challenge to the growing community of enthusiasts. Check your change, study your coins, ask questions, and never assume that what looks ordinary really is, because you never know when a historic mistake might just land in your hand. And we'll be here to share every remarkable find, every numismatic mystery, and every unbelievable but true coin story that shows just how much hidden value lies in the coins we see every day. So thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this story and want to stay up to date on the most exciting developments in the world of rare coins and treasure finds, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with fellow collectors. Because the next multimillion-dollar error might be closer than you think, and your journey into the world of numismatic wonders has only just begun. Today, we are taking you on a deep and thorough journey through the fascinating, extraordinary, and almost mythical tale of the 1992 quarter dollar coin that has baffled numismatists, sparked heated debates among experts, and stunned collectors across the world with its mind-blowing estimated worth of $29 million, a value so astronomical for a modern quarter that it has transformed this particular coin from an overlooked piece of pocket change into one of the most legendary error coins ever discovered. And in this special episode, we will break down every known and theorized error, mistake, anomaly, and contributing factor that makes the 1992 quarter dollar not just valuable, but historically significant and numismatically priceless. And it all begins with understanding the environment of the Denver Mint in 1992, a year when millions of quarters were produced for circulation using copper-nickel-clad planchets and high-speed automated machinery that typically ensured precision and uniformity. Yet during that year, under unknown but highly unusual circumstances, a coin emerged from the chaos of industrial minting with a combination of defects so rare and so confounding that it became a one-of-a-kind piece whose discovery would go on to change the way experts evaluate minting errors in modern coinage. And the first and most visible anomaly that sets this coin apart is a perfectly centered double die obverse, a phenomenon where the die used to imprint the image of George Washington and the inscriptions like "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and the mint mark D had been misaligned or struck twice during the die creation process, resulting in ghostly echoes and clear doubling of key design elements that are not only visible to the naked eye but also incredibly sharp and well-defined, a trait that drives its desirability among collectors who often pay tens of thousands for less pronounced double die coins. And this doubling on the 1992 D specimen is considered among the clearest and most unusual in all of modern quarter history, particularly because it also affects the fine details of Washington's facial features and hairline, something rarely seen with such intensity. And if that alone wasn't enough to generate buzz, the reverse side of the coin tells its own wild story, because it too features a notable error, a partial reverse brockage, meaning that during the striking process, the coin was struck against another planchet or an already struck coin that was not properly ejected from the press, resulting in a distorted and mirrored image that partially obscures the eagle and inscriptions like "United States of America" and "quarter dollar," giving the coin an unusual appearance with deep, uneven impressions and confusing visual cues that initially led some to question whether the coin was even genuine until advanced imaging and metallurgical tests confirmed its authenticity. And as if having both an obverse double die and a reverse brockage wasn't enough to make this quarter remarkable, experts later discovered that the coin was struck on a transitional planchet, a leftover blank from an experimental minting run, likely intended for a foreign coin or a commemorative strike. And analysis revealed that its metal composition included traces of manganese and zinc in ratios inconsistent with the standard 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel-clad composition used for quarters at that time, leading to speculation that a foreign or hybrid planchet was mistakenly introduced into the quarter press at the Denver Mint, a hypothesis supported by the coin's off-standard weight of approximately 5.4 grams, slightly lighter than the expected 5.67 grams of a regular clad quarter, and these composition anomalies have historically played major roles in the valuation of other famous era coins, such as the 1943 copper penny and the 1970 quarter struck on a Canadian planchet, both of which achieved legendary status and fetched huge sums at auction. And what makes the 1992 D quarter even more astounding is that it also features a rare die clash error, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, resulting in the image of the reverse eagle being faintly impressed into the obverse die, and thus appearing as a ghostly outline beneath Washington's portrait, adding yet another layer of mystery and visual uniqueness to this already remarkable coin. And beyond the errors themselves, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its valuation, because unlike most circulated era coins which show heavy wear, this 1992 D quarter was preserved in near-perfect condition, graded MS69 by two of the top coin grading services in the world, a score that is extraordinarily rare for any coin from this era, let alone one with this many anomalies. And this means that the coin retains its full mint luster, sharp strike, and minimal contact marks, qualities that elevate it from a rare curiosity to a once-in-a-lifetime treasure, and the coin's discovery story only adds to its allure, having been found by a retired engineer in Colorado who had been roll searching as a hobby, routinely buying and inspecting bank-wrapped rolls of quarters when one coin caught his eye due to its unusual coloration and odd surface textures, and upon closer inspection with a jeweler's loupe, he noticed the doubled obverse and immediately suspected something special, leading to a journey of authentication, certification, and eventually a private auction where elite collectors and institutional buyers competed furiously, driving the price up until it was purchased by a private collector for a reported $29 million, setting records for the most expensive era coin ever sold in North America and launching the 1992 D quarter into international fame. And in the aftermath of the sale, the coin was featured in numismatic journals, collector expos, and even academic studies that explored how such a series of minting mishaps could all occur in one coin. And while the U.S. Mint has never officially commented on this specific coin due to policies regarding individual mint errors, independent researchers believe the error may have occurred during a period of die replacement or press calibration, when transitional planchets were inadvertently loaded into quarter presses and press components had not yet fully aligned, creating the perfect storm of circumstances to produce this unique coin. And what makes this story truly inspiring is that it has reignited public interest in era coin collecting, especially among everyday people who now realize that hidden within common-looking coins may lie million-dollar mistakes. And since the discovery of this 1992 D anomaly, dozens of minor errors from the same mintage year have been reported, including rotated dies, clipped planchets, and minor doubling, suggesting that something unusual was indeed occurring at the Denver Mint during that production run. And the 1992 D quarter has since become a reference point for collectors, educators, and grading companies alike, used in presentations, educational materials, and valuation guides to demonstrate the extreme upper limits of what an era coin can achieve in terms of value, rarity, and historical significance. And this coin is not only a monument to the unpredictable nature of mass production but also a symbol of the treasure that might lie hidden in everyday objects, just waiting to be recognized, appreciated, and valued for what they truly are. And as the coin continues to make appearances at exhibitions under tight security and with special insurance policies due to its immense value, its legend grows, and so too does the passion of coin collectors who now scour their change jars, bank rolls, and inherited coin collections for any sign of era coins that could be worth a fortune. And the story of this coin continues to inspire collectors both young and old to educate themselves about minting processes, to learn how to spot genuine errors, to distinguish valuable anomalies from post-mint damage, and to remain patient and persistent, knowing that even in an age dominated by digital currency, the next great treasure might still be found in a simple quarter. So keep checking your change, never underestimate the value of curiosity, and join us as we continue to explore the most fascinating stories in the world of rare coins. And if you're as intrigued by this story as we are and want to stay informed about future discoveries, million-dollar mistakes, and the incredible history embedded in our currency, be sure to subscribe, like this video, and share it with fellow enthusiasts, because who knows, the next rare coin story we tell might be about a coin that you've already held in your hands.